Munchkins. I have one rule in the art room, and it is this.
It is never okay to be hurtful or disruptive.
It will never be okay for any student to be hurtful or disruptive in my classroom. You may never be hurtful to me or another student or another adult in this building. It will never be okay to interrupt the learning process in this room. Now that's the only rule I have in this classroom, but we have policies and procedures. And we must follow these policies and procedures in order to make this a fun and fair classroom for every student.
Now, I'm a firm believer in having fun. I love to have fun. But make no mistake, this is the Littlefinger Show, and this is my kingdom. My policies, my procedures.
Not following the policies and procedures will result in a think sheet to be filled out by you.
We will practice these policies and procedures repeatedly. You will have 2 days to learn the policies and procedures before think sheets will be given out for not following these directions. Number 1, I do not allow students to leave the classroom after they have entered without permission. It has nothing to do with the bell. You do not have time to come into my classroom, throw down your books, and then go run to the bathroom or to your locker. You need to go potty first. Once you come in the room, you do not leave without my permission. Before the bell rings. Before the bell rings, I expect all students to be in their seat filling out their agenda with their learning targets. Your learning targets are located on the board, on the left of the board. All students need to have portfolios and art folders on their desk with pencils and sharpeners, and all personal possessions need to be under your desk. Students who are not in their seat are tardy. I expect students to have a pencil, a sharpener, and their folders on their desk. And finally, be prepared for class, not talking to your fellow students. I tried to have a video for you, and that's your bell work every day. You need to be sitting quietly and watching.
If you are late, door will be locked. You must go to the office for a pass. If you sit in the front of the room and you go to the back of the room to talk to a friend, you will be tardy.
Exiting the classroom. You may bring a bottle of water to class, but you're never going to be allowed to leave to get a drink of water. Hall passes will only be given to students who have their agenda, and the bell does not dismiss the class. Miss Littlefinger dismisses the class.
Before we begin the lineup procedure, I will check with the sync monitors to make sure it is clean.
We have a very specific way for exiting the classroom at the end of class. Number 1, the bell does not dismiss the students, the teacher does. After the studio is cleaned up and students are sitting quietly, we'll begin the procedure for lining up. The procedure for lining up is I call on students to answer a question. Only students who are sitting quietly can be called on to answer questions. Students who are in line when the bell rings are allowed to leave. I only allow quiet students to stay in line. If you're talking, you sit down. If you're in your seat when the bell rings, you must wait to be dismissed. This is the most important procedure in the art room. When I address the class with a raised hand and a peace sign, stop talking, stop what you're doing. Raise your own hand and a peace sign. This lets me know you're ready for instruction and let your classmates know what to do. Turn and face me and be prepared for instruction. I have zero tolerance for not following this policy. I have zero, none, zero tolerance. Okay, now we're going to practice. You're going to have 3 pictures to look at. When you see them, I want you to laugh your head off. When you see the picture of the fingers up, I want you to close your mouths, fingers up, and eyes on the screen within 3 seconds. Fingers up, mouths off, eyes on me.
Ah, very good, grasshoppers.
Fingers up, mouths off, eyes on me. You learn quickly, grasshoppers. One more time. Fingers up, mouths off, eyes on me.
Excellent job. We will be practicing that over the next few days.
Work smarter, not harder. What that means is, if you are smart about the way you get things done, you won't have to work as hard. The art room is organized for success. We have rows A through F. Rows C and D are extremely important because we use those rows to pass in and pass out materials. Row A is on the east side of the classroom, closest to the sink and the door. Row A, please raise your hands. Row F is on the west side, opposite from the sink. Row F, please raise your hands. Row C and D are in the center aisles. Row C and D, please raise your hands. Row B and D, your desks are facing the board or the windows. Row B and D, please raise your hands. Each group of tables will have a group leader. This student must be trustworthy and fair, never hurtful or disruptive. Group leaders will sit in row C and D.
Dirty hands! At each group of desks, you'll find a container with clean water, a small tub, and rags. Use this to wash or clean your hands, and use the bathroom between classes to clean with soap.
Please do not do this in the art room. Yeah, it's fun, but do this at home.
Takes too much time for every student to wash their hands in the sink, so we don't want to take away from our work time. We're going to do it at our desks.
Going out of your way to make a mess is hurtful and disruptive.
Your mother does not work here, and I'm not cleaning up after you.
Do not get supplies or materials out without permission. Students will be assigned to pass out and collect materials. Group leaders will never be assigned to pass out supplies. It's the group leader's responsibility to count and organize the supplies in rows C and D, so they need to be at the desk. So here's the procedure. Number 1, count the number of tools before you begin. Number 2, pass out the tools and supplies to rows C and D. Work smarter, not harder. Don't go past rows C and D. At the end of class, a dog will bark 10 minutes before the bell rings. This is a signal to pick up. Give each table 3 minutes to pass materials into row C and D, then collect them. Don't go beyond row C and D. Work smarter, not harder. Do not pass a group that doesn't have all their supplies. Wait for them to pass all their supplies to row C and D. After I have counted and approved this procedure, we will begin the lining up procedure.
Don't worry, I'll go over these instructions more later.
If you're assigned to pass out and pick up brushes, you will also clean the brushes at the sink.
Clean brushes in cold water until the water is so clear that you could drink it. Don't drink it, that's a bad idea. It needs to be that clear. Messy materials like clay and plaster do not go in or near the sink. A student will be assigned to take the dirty water outside and dump it into the grass. So these materials and tools need to be cleaned at the tubs at your desk.
Super focus. When the teacher says super focus, use exaggerated body language. Turn your entire upper body towards the person or thing you are directed to and open your eyes as wide as saucers. Huge! As you do this, make a short, sharp hissing sound. Freeze. Give me 100% focus. Absolute silence. Eyes on me. Super focus on the board. 1, 2, 3. Super focus on the sink. 1, 2, 3. Super focus on the floor. 1, 2, 3. Super focus on the ceiling. 1, 2, 3.
Very good, grasshoppers. We will practice more later. Respect yourself. Don't give yourself negative self-fulfilling prophecies. If you say you can't do something, then you'll talk yourself into really believing you can't. An excessive negative attitude will count off on your classroom participation points. All I expect is for you to do your own personal best, and you'll be fine in my classroom. If you say you can't do something, you'll talk yourself into really believing you can't. Whether it's making art, or being on the football team, or getting a good grade, or being a cheerleader, you create your own reality. Same with if you say I can do something, then you're going to create the ability to make that happen.
You have these things in your brain called dendrites. They spark ideas. When you get frustrated, it's like getting gum in your dendrites.
If I come to you to help and you say, I can't do this, then I'll go to the next student. I really don't have time to talk you out of a bad mood. I have about 60 seconds per student. So instead of saying I can't, what I need for you to say is, I'm having a difficult time with.
I don't expect students to have all the skills they need when they come into my classroom. That's why you're in my class, to learn these skills. Instead of saying I can't, say I'm having a difficult time with. Be specific. I'm having a difficult time with making this look round, or getting the color right, or coming up with an idea. When you're specific, it does 3 things. Number 1, you might be able to answer the question. Your neighbor might be able to answer the question. And if they don't, if you can't, when I get to you, I can help answer the question quickly.
Okay, so let's practice that. Repeat after me. We're going to do it 3 times. I'm having a difficult time with. Again, I'm having a difficult time with. And one last time. Repeat after me. I'm having a difficult time with. Very good. That's what you need to say if you're having a hard time, not I can't.
Bottom line is, it's never okay to be hurtful or disruptive. If you don't follow the procedures and the policies, then that becomes hurtful and disruptive. So now I want you to take 5 minutes and raise the screen up. You're going to make a brainstorming list of what it looks like to be hurtful and disruptive.